It all began in the towering glass mansion of business tycoon Richard Hale, a man who owned half the skyline but couldn't fix the one thing that mattered most, his daughter. Little Alina Hale was born deaf. Doctors tried everything. Specialists flew in from every continent. Richard spent millions searching for a cure, a surgery, a miracle, anything. But every medical report ended the same way: she may learn to adapt, but she will never hear. Richard accepted it on the outside, but inside he broke a little more each day. His wife passed away years earlier, and Alina was all he had left. He wanted her to hear birds, music, laughter, a world she only saw, never felt. At school, kids didn't mean to be cruel, but silence is a lonely place. Alina learned to read lips, to smile politely, to hide hurt behind big brown eyes. She carried notebooks to communicate, scribbling her thoughts as fast as she could. Yet no one truly understood her quiet world. Except one man. His name was Samuel, the school janitor. The one everyone ignored, stepped around, or forgot existed. But Alina didn't forget him. Because Samuel didn't talk at her, he talked to her. Slowly, kindly, patiently. He learned basic sign language just to say hello. Each day, when he swept the halls, she sat near him, flipping pages of her notebook while he repaired broken desks and humming old songs she couldn't hear. She didn't know why he always hummed, but she liked the vibration of his voice through the floor. He was different, gentle, almost too patient for the world around him. One winter morning, Richard received a call from the school. Alina was found crying in a bathroom stall. Some students had laughed at her for not hearing their whispers behind her back. When Richard arrived, furious and heartbroken, he found Samuel sitting outside the bathroom, waiting with her favorite chocolate milk, signing slowly with his hands to comfort her. Something inside the billionaire softened that day. He invited Samuel to their mansion for a special school event that weekend, thanking him for being kind to his daughter when the world wasn't. Samuel arrived in old shoes, a faded coat, and carrying a battered wooden box under his arm. Richard assumed it was his lunch, but Samuel kept it close, almost protectively. The mansion buzzed with guests, philanthropists, CEOs, parents, teachers. Everyone chatted loudly, but Alina stood in the center, silent, overwhelmed. Richard watched helplessly, wishing he could give her even one moment of sound. That's when Samuel stepped through the crowd, eyes soft, posture nervous. He knelt in front of Alina and opened the old wooden box. Inside were strange metal pieces, wires, and a small device, hand-built, carefully polished, shaped with love more than money. Richard stiffened. "What is that?" Samuel swallowed. "A bone conduction auditory prototype, something I've been working on for almost 10 years. "You're a janitor," a businessman scoffed. "You expect us to believe." "I wasn't always," Samuel whispered. "I was an engineer, until my son was born deaf, and died before I could finish this device." Silence filled the mansion. "I failed him," Samuel continued. "But maybe, I can help her." Richard felt something heavy in his chest, fear, hope, disbelief all at once. "Is it safe?" "It won't cure her," Samuel said honestly. "But it might help her feel sound. Maybe even interpret it." Alina touched the device gently, then looked up at Samuel with eyes that asked 1,000 questions. He signed slowly, "Do you trust me?" She nodded. With trembling hands, Samuel positioned the device behind her ear, adjusting a small pad against her bone. He tapped a switch. For a moment, nothing. Then Alina froze. Her eyes widened. Her lips parted. She inhaled sharply, trembling. Because for the first time in her life, she felt something. A faint vibration. A rhythm. A pulse. Samuel began humming softly, the same tune she felt through the floors of her school. This time, she didn't just feel it. She heard a soft, humming echo inside her head. A blurred, broken melody, but a melody nonetheless. Her hands flew to her mouth as tears streamed down her cheeks. Richard staggered back, overwhelmed, tears falling as he watched his daughter experience the world in a new way. Is it working?" he choked. Alina turned toward him, slowly, uncertainly, and whispered the first sound she had ever attempted in her life. "D-ad." The entire mansion gasped. Richard collapsed to his knees, pulling her into his arms, sobbing into her hair, repeating her name over and over. Samuel looked away, wiping tears he hoped no one noticed. But Alina noticed. She walked to him, placed her small hand on his cheek, and whispered again, broken, fragile, but breathtaking. "Thank you." Samuel broke. The guests who once dismissed him now stood stunned, humbled by the quiet janitor who carried genius in a wooden box and grief in his heart. Richard offered him anything: money, research labs, a new engineering team. But Samuel shook his head. "I don't want fame," he said softly. "I just want her to hear the world she deserves." And so began a partnership no one saw coming. A billionaire father, a gentle janitor, and a brave little girl learning to hear the world. One vibration, one sound, one miracle at a time. Months later, Samuel's device evolved, improved, and was donated to hundreds of children who had never known sound. Families reunited. Communities changed. Hope spread where silence once lived. But the most beautiful moment came one spring morning, when Alina stood on stage at her school's talent show. Holding the microphone with trembling fingers, she looked at Samuel sitting in the front row. Then she sang. Her voice shaky, imperfect, but shining with a courage that made the entire hall rise to their feet. And as her father cried and Samuel smiled through tears, the world finally understood.